Australian Predecimal Mint Marks Decoded, Part 1. The Halfpenny. Let's start with the lowest Australian denomination, the halfpenny. Australian halfpennies were produced in London, Birmingham, Calcutta, Bombay, Sydney, Melbourne and Perth. Now you may think that determining the mint in which a particular halfpenny was produced would be a simple matter of checking the date of the coin against a table of dates, but things are not that simple. In some years, coins were produced at multiple mints because of production capacity limits or some other restriction. This is where understanding mint marks comes in. It's important to know in what mint a coin was minted. Sometimes the number of coins produced by different mints varied substantially. If you are looking for scarce coins, you need to know both the date of the coin and what mint it was produced in, at the very least. In the early days of Australian coins, most of the coins were minted for Australia by Mother England. Australian halfpennies, dated from 1911 through 1915, were either minted at the Heaton Mint, situated in Birmingham, or at the London Mint. Identifying coins produced by the Heaton Mint is not difficult because the mint mark for the Heaton Mint is an H. It can be found above the date but below the scroll at 6 o'clock on the reverse of the coin. As the Heaton Mint was situated in Birmingham, these coins are sometimes referred to as Birmingham varieties. Australian halfpennies produced by the London Mint did not have a mint mark, with the exception of the 1951 halfpenny that has a tiny PL mint mark located between the letter Y of the word penny and the star located at about 4 o'clock on the coin. 1916 saw another Commonwealth country, at the time at least, pitch in with 3,600,000 Australian halfpennies being minted by the Calcutta Mint in India. The mint mark for this coin is the letter I, found at 6 o'clock below the scroll and above the date. This mint mark is also found on the 1917 and 1918 halfpennies, as these coins were also minted in Calcutta, now renamed as Kolkata. The I mint mark then disappears for a while and re-emerges in 1942 and 1943. But the I mint mark is no longer to be found under the scroll. It is now located on the obverse of the coin, below the bust of King George VI. The I mint mark on these coins still indicates the coin was minted in India, but the change in location of the mint mark to the obverse of the coin indicates the coin was minted at the Bombay Mint. In 1919, Australia finally gets its act together and starts producing its own halfpennies, starting at the Sydney Mint, that continues to produce the halfpenny until 1924, when Melbourne Mint comes into play, pretty much taking over the minting of halfpennies until Perth Mint produces the 1942 halfpenny. The 1942 Perth variety halfpenny has a dot after the Y in the word penny, as do most halfpennies minted by the Perth Mint. This is true for all but two Perth Mint halfpennies. The 1952 and 1953 halfpenny are identified as being produced by the Perth Mint with a dot after the letter A in the word Australia. Identifying coins with their mint mark is not always straightforward. Exceptions, like the case of the 1951 halfpenny being minted by both the London Mint and the Heaton Mint, with the Heaton Mint coin lacking its normal H mint mark, can cause confusion. It seems the Perth Mint may have also produced a number of halfpennies in 1945 without the dot following the Y or the A. My last word about mint marks on the Australian halfpennies is to not confuse halfpenny mint marks with penny mint marks. It's easy to assume the same conventions could apply, but this is not true. Pennies may have ridiculously difficult to see dots above or below the scrolls that denote their origin. Don't waste your time looking for these dots on halfpennies. They're just not there. For more about Australian penny mint marks, you will need to watch part 2 of this series on Australian predecimal mint marks. And don't forget to like and subscribe if this has sparked your interest.